So hi, my dear friends, welcome to Punarvas Jayakumar YouTube channel. So we have with us, we are in the company of stars here, my dear friends. So we have all the rankers, round table, though it's not a round table, but let's call it a round table conference. Generally, we wanted to make an interaction whereby we ask them some relevant questions from whatever the students only ask. First of all, warm welcome to all the three rank holders here. First, I would be starting with CA Romita, who scored All India rank 13. Welcome, my dear buddy. How are you doing? And CA Kunal Rathod, All India rank 44. And on my left, we have CA Aishwarya N, who has scored All India rank 36. So welcome all of you. First of all, hearty congratulations and welcome. So I need to tell a little bit of you initially. It's very strange and very interesting also and very intriguing that all of them have come from varied backgrounds. I'm talking about academic background, so to speak. Romita here, who scored All India rank 13, she's also has scored All India rank 3 in CS Executive. So I believe she's also a company secretary. She's finished her CS professional as well, and All India rank 3, which is quite amazing. So welcome, Romita. Hi.
Hi, sir. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction.
Thank you. And next we have, Aishwarya. Aishwarya, who scored All India rank 36. I mean, she is, I think, multiple ranker in all levels. She has scored AIR 10 in CA Inter, AIR 5 in CMA Inter, and again AIR 5 in CMA Final. So that's amazing, buddy. So
Thank you, sir.
Brilliant, brilliant. And I mean, Kunal, on the other hand, is AR 44, but very interesting. He's come from a science background, right? He's come from a science background. Even I am from science background, but I didn't get any rank. Okay, so science background, but very interestingly, he also had got a seat in a top medical college in Bangalore. That's very surprising. So he would have written that CET exam and all the other medical exams, NEET exam, and then got a seat in a very, very famous college in Bangalore. Let's not get into all those details. But because of some reason, he shifted to commerce and then ended up clearing CA Inter, and of course CA final got a rank. So amazing, man, varied academic backgrounds. So hearty congratulations all of you. So let's begin, guys, without wasting much of your time. All of you welcome, hearty congratulations. So first question that students have asked, one by one, we can probably start with Romita. We can go in any angle. First round we'll start with Romita here. So Romita, first question that students are asking is, we all know the importance of writing, test series or mock exams, etc. So I have filtered few questions, some 5-6 questions. We'll do it. We'll just quickly finish it off because I value your time as well. So tell me, did you take up any test series, or how important is a test series? How important are mock exams? Did you write any? And what tips would you give to our students? So you can start off, right? The stage is yours. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So coming to test series, I think writing practice is extremely important at any exam, like not just CA final, whatever exam you're preparing for, writing practice is critical. So I did take up test series from a particular site for practicing and solving. And the major part I felt was I wanted somebody to evaluate my answers, so that I get like a external perspective as to how people would evaluate my presentation and my content for a particular answer. So that was the critical part for me, because my writing speed was decent. So I didn't have a challenge in completing the paper. So for me, the evaluation was very important as to how many marks are being given and how can I improvise my answer. So writing practice for students, I would just like in general, if I have to say, it's completely your choice, but you should definitely take up mock test, but you can also do it on your own. It's not that you need to definitely buy some series. You can also take your time and practice your test, according to your schedule. And you can evaluate it also, so that you kind of measure your performance. But I would minimum say writing 2 mock tests would be decent to ensure that you kind of don't develop any kind of fear in your exams. You'll find it very comfortable is what I would say.
Awesome. So guys, thank you so much. So 2 mock exams is what she has written, and that is what she has suggested, my dear friends. Maybe Aishwarya, do you want to take it now? What did you do, buddy, for your mock exams, etc.? Did you do any?
Hello.
Yeah, Aishwarya, can you hear me?
Yeah, sir, I can hear you. So with respect to mock exams, I have a slightly different perspective from Romita. So my issue was writing speed and writing practice. So I knew that I wanted to complete the paper for 100 marks. Even if I didn't know a particular answer, for me, writing the paper for 100 marks has always been very important. So I took up mock tests primarily for writing practice and for presentation. I ended up taking only one mock exam though. So towards the last month of just 1 month before and just one thing that I would probably like to say is, even though you don't perform very well in your mock exams, it is still okay. I would encourage all of you to still take up mock exams and not get disheartened because you don't perform well. Because there was a particular paper where I just got say 52 in my mock exams, but I ended up getting 88 in my actual paper. So mock exams is more for writing speed and practice and presentation. So I would suggest take up at least one mock exam, even if you can't take up multiple. One is at least necessary, is what I.
All right. Okay, I think we lost her there a little bit. Okay. So thank you so much, Aishwarya. So she's saying that we should write at least one mock exam, whereas Romita said 2 mock exams. Excellent. Yes, definitely. And they're saying that you can either take from a whatever service provider, or you can probably use any paper, right? That's what. What about you, Kunal buddy? What did you do? What was your strategy?
To be frank, sir, I made a mistake. I didn't write mock papers, to be honest. The issue was I was really slow at studying. I knew my pace. So the thing is, I focus more on completing the syllabus more and more times. But
okay,
I kept on writing answers by myself, and your Q&A books, sir, I read on my own. At least one.
can you hear me? I think there was a little break in the. Yeah. Can you please repeat the last part, Kunal? Sorry. So we got to know that you didn't write any mock exams.
Yeah.
You are concentrating more on the, figuring out the syllabus and finishing the syllabus. Okay. The last part.
That was because I was slow. That is because I was slow. I was saying that. But I would definitely recommend everyone to always try writing, because all subjects you need some bit of writing practice, or else in the exam you try figuring out how to just lift your pen and start writing. So you need to be in that mindset. You have to face it once, so that the mistakes which if you can correct, that will always be a boon.
Great. Thanks. Thank you so much. So Kunal is saying that writing is very important. So basically all 3 of them feel that writing is important. Some of them have written, some of them have not written. That's absolutely fine. But point number 1, my dear friends, please pick up the pen and paper and write mock exams. It will really help you. Doesn't matter where you write from. That is the key takeaway number 1. So over to the next question. People have this problem with respect to MCQs, because we have integrated MCQs, we have normal MCQs. So what was your strategy? Did you time yourself and study? Did you, solve questions, a lot of questions? Is number of questions a matter, or should we actually solve a few questions but varied types? So maybe Aishwarya, you can start off this time. How did you tackle the MCQ part? Studying as well as writing?
Yeah. Booklet across which had an MCQ part. I did only ICAI resources, which includes the ICAI booklet as well as the mock test papers or the revision papers for the past few attempts. So I would suggest first thoroughly finish ICAI resources, and then you can move to other resources. So that would be my personal was always enter number, or say for example how I solved that question, and so that when I was revising the second time, I only concentrated upon those particular questions, because of course I could not revisit 100 plus 30 case study scenarios.
Right.
So I would suggest concentrate on the ICAI resources first for MCQs, and then if you have time you can move on to any other resources as well. But I did only ICAI resources, sir.
Perfect. Superb. So guys, key takeaway from that, probably there was a little bit of internet issue, but it's okay. The key takeaway is ICAI resources, solve the questions there, mark the ones which are important, and then later revisit them during revision. Yes. Kunal, buddy, do you want to take this? How did you prepare MCQs?
So exactly as Aishwarya just mentioned, I followed the exact same strategy. I followed only the ICAI, all entire book of ICAI, the MCQs. I did about 3 RTPs, and I stuck to that itself. I didn't go and refer any other MCQs. So I personally believe ICAI material is good enough, the MCQs. And if you have more time, I would suggest you revise the concepts. No point just doing more and more MCQs.
Correct. So great. Thank you so much. So Kunal always believes in quality over quantity. Yes. ICAI material, it's good enough to solve MCQs. What about you, Romita? What was your strategy with respect to MCQs? Romita, can you hear me? What was your strategy with respect to these MCQs? Was it different or was it the same thing? I think we are losing a bit. 1 second.
More MCQs in the limited amount of time. But coming to the strategy, something that I would have done differently is that when I completed a particular subject, I ensured that I take the MCQs after I completed the subject. So that what happens is when I moved on, and I used to test them using MCQs. Whenever I used to take break or something, I saw like 10 MCQs. And as she mentioned, I used to mark the MCQs in a different color. So I kind of revisited back. And apart from that, I think some I made in a book like a summary of adjustments, where I kind of like if an MCQ has a new concept, I go and immediately write it in that particular book. It's a book maintained for each subject, so that when you kind of go through your like one that you revise, all key points for solving MCQs will be there, so that you kind of apply the concepts directly to the sums in exams, and it contains whatever mistake you have made, so that you don't repeat it in the exam. So only from the strategy, I had a slightly variant approach, but largely the resources are similar. Yeah.
Great, awesome. So key takeaway again is you maintained a summary of adjustments. So all the important areas you wrote it separately, but of course you also followed the same strategy of MCQs. But one thing is what she did was she finished the chapter and then as a revision tool use that. Great, thank you so much. Sticking to the ICAI part, many students are asking me this that did you use ICAI material for the first round of studying, or you use any faculty's material? I'm talking about all the subjects in general. And for elective paper, did you take the ICAI material or did you take any faculty's material? How was it for that elective? Apart from that, all subjects, did you ever touch the ICAI material for other things apart from MCQ? Or did you use any person's or any author's book? That doesn't matter. They just want to know whether ICAI material should be used ever. I'm talking about other than MCQ. So maybe Kunal can take this first this time. All right, buddy. Sorry, we lost the connection. So I'll just repeat the question with respect to the ICAI material. People were asking what material to follow, whether ICAI material or any other material, any book for that matter. So I just want to ask you guys what you did. Apart from MCQ, which you already told that you use ICAI material, I'm asking about other subjects, including especially your elective subject. Did you carry the ICAI material to the exam? Is that enough? Or did you carry any author's material? Or not particularly about elective, but overall, they just want to know how far can we rely on ICAI material apart from the MCQs that you have already told. Maybe Kunal can take this question first.
Okay. So, sir, I took tuitions for all 8 subjects. So I totally relied on my faculty. So I personally believe if you're taking a particular faculty, you should rely on that. So you cannot do everything at once. You have limited time. So whichever faculty you've taken, trust that person and follow the same. And
Okay.
if you want, after completing, you can just briefly glance through the ICAI material if you've covered all the main topics. That is what I believe. And for economic laws, I had taken your book. So that was more than enough. Nothing, absolutely nothing is required apart from that.
All right, cool. Thank you so much. What about you, Romita? What is your suggestion with respect to having ICAI material on board for all your subjects?
Yes, sir. So basically, I also kind of almost enrolled for classes like either it would be regular or fast track. Only there I had to choose. But apart from that, classes, so we receive faculty materials. Probably the only thing that I used to do was when I covered that particular topic, if I have like some reserve time or something, I used to refer the ICI material to see any examples or illustrations, not entirely because there's a very limited time. So any illustrations or examples that are new, probably I just used to mark them and kind of solve that for practice. And theory subjects, I think, anyways, we kind of try to go for the keywords which are already there in the existing faculty materials and just see if any examples are there. So that was the strategy for using books. And for paper 60, almost the 3 modules are like more than enough to carry to the examination. You will not have time to even go through that. But if you're completely gone through the module, they are like almost everything is there, the parac and case study all in one place. So I think yeah.
Fine. So they are all saying that trust the faculty for each subject and go with it. And what about you, Aishwarya? What is your opinion?
Sir, I agree with what they say. Even I attended classes for almost all papers. But one thing I would probably say a little bit differently is that I would say ICI material is ultimately the Bible. It is extremely important in my opinion, not only for CA final, but since I've done CMA as well, I would say any professional course that institute's material is extremely important. But we will not have time to go through the faculty's material and the institute study material. So
Right.
go through your faculty's material really well, but at least go through the institute study materials questions, the test your knowledge questions. At least try to go through them is what I would highly recommend, because I feel that the institute material is very important. And for a couple of subjects, I relied entirely only on the institute's material.
Okay, cool. Super. Thank you so much. So great. So institute material is also important, but of course you will have to manage both and probably take a few pointers from the institute material, because obviously it's humanly impossible to study now from both the materials, from the faculty's material and the institute material. Cool. Now this is an important question. There are a lot of distractions, and of course we had COVID, which was the major threat for all of us. How did you guys manage? How was it? How were you able to actually focus all this time, at least 1 year of preparation in the midst of a pandemic, seeing the things around you? I mean, maybe you also contracted COVID. I did for sure in August. So some of you may not have, it doesn't matter, but you would have seen the complete sort of disarray and complete disorientation around you. How did you focus and how did you manage to study? So this is a very important question from the students' point of view. So maybe Aishwarya can take it this time first, and then we'll go to the others. Yes, Aishwarya, how did you manage?
Yes, sir. I mean, so apart from COVID, I think some of the distractions we could say is social media probably, and the peers who are writing CA along with you. I could see these 3 as the major distractions. So with respect to social media, I was not there on any social media at that point. So I came away from all kinds of social media. And with respect to connecting with my peers, I connected specifically only with a couple of people to whom I used to ask questions, and they used to ask questions back to me. I did not connect with too many people, only with people who made me feel positive and who added value to that study period. I only connected with them, and I sort of isolated myself from all other people. So that is how you can remain positive. If you start seeking validation from too many people, then it's going to be very hard to remain positive, whether there is COVID or not. And with respect to COVID, thankfully, no one in my family contracted COVID at that point in time. So, with respect to COVID, I did not have any issues. But with respect to other distractions, there are a lot of distractions. For example, this thing called Telegram, where there are just so many groups and so many free resources available. People can get carried away really easily. And I think that, the time you spend on your phone is something which every single person should monitor. So
Right.
It is not wrong, being on social media. It is not wrong being on Telegram. It's just that which kind of groups you are in, which kind of people you connect with, that is really important at this point. Because after you clear CA, you can always be there on any platform you want to. But just these 4 months, 5 months is really very crucial. And try your best to stay away from social media, unnecessary social media. That's what I would say. And that's what I did also.
Amazing. Very good. Very good. What about you, Romita? What is your opinion on this?
Yes, sir. So breaking it down into like now the question is further diluted to social media and COVID. So COVID again, luckily, none of my family members were affected, so that was not a challenge during my preparation as such. But COVID, one factor was we had to shift to the work from home model, which was slightly a challenge for my classes and all, because even the classes were like all live, but recorded classes available is definitely a benefit for us because we had to manage the work. And I think only that work from home was a bit hectic to prepare. But anyways, the study leave, we got like 5 months of leave, and because of exam delays, another 1 month, which is advantage for us. So that helped us to prepare a lot. So this was a part of COVID influence in my life. And coming to social media, I was not a very active person on social media. So it was not more of a restriction for me, but just that I know my level and I was very focused that, okay, let's use it for what is relevant. I did not control myself because I'm not very active on that part. But Telegram, definitely, I would say, because most of the students end up spending a lot of time on it. I used to like take my, whenever I go for a break, I used to browse Telegram and I used to save all the important files. If you have a particular reserve of files kept, it will definitely help you because you don't even know the faculty, but somebody prepares a summary material for you, which can be a game changer just one day before the examination. So I believe to save all those files and stuff. With respect to the focus part, I think if a person is doing CA, I think the entire family is doing CA. It's a tremendous amount of support that I get from my parents. They made me always in a very comfortable spot despite whatever hiccups were going on at that time. So I think the support from your family is the focus for me and motivation. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Excellent. So I'll break it down into key takeaways after Kunal gives his view. Kunal, buddy, come on. What is your view on this?
Sir, with respect to work from home, for me, it was extremely beneficial because I saved a lot of travel time. So office
From
was
Bangalore,
about
man, I understand, yeah.
1.5 hour away. So I used to save that time and I used to cover up tuitions way better. With respect to focus, I have always been self-driven. The motivating factor for me has always been the smile on my parents' face when I get my results. So that is something which I always used to dream about during my study period also. So everyone who's stepping into this knows what they're going for. And the target is tough, but the journey is wonderful. You have to be consistent, I believe. Perseverance is the key. So if ever anyone, see, everyone will feel low, I believe. Ups and downs do come, but it's just that point you feel, should I give up or should I just stand up and go further? So you should always push yourself, surround yourself with good people, good peers. And yes, disconnecting from social media is necessary. At least these last 5 months, I didn't totally disconnect, but I had my restrictions. So I knew how much time to give. It was maximum about 15 to 20 minutes in a day. So I kept that target for myself and I stuck with it. So that is how I could proceed.
Amazing. So guys, four takeaways. First is please restrict your social media usage, especially Telegram, because I see so many groups and people simply keep chatting on that. Useless, waste of time it is. Second, of course, you can probably have a repository of material in Telegram itself, so where you can see summary, etc. And of course, we all know that without our parents and without our loved ones' support, we cannot do it. And as Kunal beautifully put it, he always dreamt of the day when he saw the smile on his parents' face, and to actually see that translate into reality is something which is amazing. So keeping the same tempo on, just one question. Generally, people say that, and you guys are superhuman. You are the rank holders in a different category. You cannot sort of touch them, and they are sort of, they do not goof up. They do not get tense. That's the perception, and they do not make mistakes, and they're really sorted in life, so to speak. Is it really true? And if not, what mistakes did you do? If you can share, that is, because in the preparation, during the course of preparation, what are the challenges that you faced, and what probably could you have done better? I mean, you have achieved something amazing, no doubt about it. You are all chartered accountants today, and I mean, some of you have already taken the other courses as well. But what is it that, is it true that you guys never goof up? Though I strongly don't believe so, but it's better if it comes from the horse's mouth. So maybe this time Romita can take this. Yes.
Yes, sir. So I don't believe with that statement. I mean, everybody knows that it's just like something that they feel about it. But I think we're also normal human beings, and I would say mistake is the starting point for me to know what I'm good at. So
Right.
I make mistakes, I learn from it, and the only thing that maybe we would have done differently that I think right now is we rectified it immediately, so that it did not happen again and it did not cause something so big. So that rectification is very important. Everybody makes mistakes, and it's completely normal. There were particular papers that I was also extremely tense about, and I think SFM was like really easy for us, but maybe I felt very nervous and I did not get good marks in it. So it happens. It's just that you need to have a balance for all the subjects, I would say, so that some papers definitely support you, and some papers you might kind of you will be able to manage at the end of the day. You can't be good at everything that you do. I would just say that learn from your mistakes. That's the starting point.
Very good. Learn from your mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. What about you, Aishwarya? Want to add something to that, or you have a different perspective?
Sir, I mean, I think being very honest over here is going to help a lot of people. So I just want to say that not even one single day did I meet my daily targets. But that did not stop me from setting daily targets. I had monthly targets, I had daily targets, but I did not meet them even one single day during any of my professional courses, not just CA final. But the key is to keep just you should keep having targets, sir. You should keep having targets. You should keep trying to achieve them every single day. You should not get demotivated too often. I think that is the key. Never give up. Don't give up even one single day. And another thing which I hear from a lot of people is rank holders study for 16 hours a day, 17 hours a day, which is completely wrong. It is not possible for anyone. For me, at least, it is impossible to study for 15, 16 hours a day. I did not study for 15 or 16 hours a day. But those 10 or 12 hours or 13 hours that I did study, I studied effectively. I did not let myself get distracted too much. And another question is, did you do it every single day? Yes, 99% I did it every single day, but there are those 1 or 2 days where I felt like I wanted to take a break, or I would have probably studied only for 5 hours or 6 hours, or where I took the whole day off. So at the end of the day, yes, I made a lot of mistakes. Like I opened the ICA study material only towards the last month, which was the biggest mistake I did according to me.
Okay.
So yes, I did goof up. I did make a lot of mistakes. We are not superhuman. It's just that, like Romita said, we identify certain points faster and we correct them faster, and we don't give up throughout the process. And my family, they are just a huge support for me. My mother and my father, my brother, my parents are also chartered accountants. So
Wow.
they are a very big backbone, and they help me get through this process. But one thing that I just want everyone to know and understand is that everybody makes mistakes, but you should never give up. You should always have targets for yourself, and don't spend too much time in one subject. I've also seen a lot of people who research a lot, sir, like as if they are going to do a PhD in one paper. That is not necessary at all to get a rank or to clear CA. You have to equally study for all 8 papers, study just what is necessary and stop over there. Don't go beyond a point because you don't have time.
Right. Beautiful.
So I think that is what I would like to add to what Romita said.
Excellent, guys. So guys, I don't have to repeat anything. You are here listening from the horse's mouth. So Kunal buddy, you have any other view, or you want to subscribe to the same view, or the floor is yours?
They've covered most of it. I totally agree with both of them. Just one more point I'd like to add is during the exams, I personally believe one paper will not go up to your expectations. That happens for everyone, I personally believe. So that for me was law paper itself, because I didn't prepare that well. Just that 1.5 day, I couldn't meet my expectations. And in the exam hall, I don't know, somehow I forgot quite a few things which I recollected immediately after the exam. So the thing is that I believe will happen to many people, at least for one paper. So you just have to keep your calm. So while writing the paper, I suggest don't look at the paper like you have to score 80 or something. If you see it's a 120 mark paper, you have 60 marks to lose. So
Right.
it's just a difference of perspective. And come what may, just write for 3 hours, I believe. So many people I saw in the law paper itself, 2 people just got up and went out about half an hour or 40 minutes before the paper got over. So come what may, do write for 3 hours, trust the process you're following and try to implement, and God is there. He'll help you definitely.
Amazing, man. This is so nice. You guys being very forthright and honest. It takes a lot of guts, to actually come out and be honest like this. So I truly appreciate you. Last question, which I will obviously mix both, because obviously you guys are running out of time little. So very simple, guys. I understand that all of you are working in the Big Four. That was one question. Is it this is for the people who are writing, I mean, somewhere 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line. Is it good to work in a Big Four or a small firm? But whatever said and done, how did you guys, now that I know that all three of you are working in the Big Four, how did you guys manage the time? Because the work timings are crazy, and of course you'll have a lot of exposure, but then there is a lot of work pressure as well. So how did you manage that? And coming to the last part, 1.5 days before the exam, what was your strategy? In the sense, for every paper, what was your, I mean, it's not, it can be a general point. It's not that for FR, what did you do? It's not like that. How did you manage? What did you do 1.5 days before the exam? And before that, 3-4 months, and with the work pressure that you guys have in the Big Four, how did you manage? Maybe Kunal can take this first time. Yeah.
So the first year, sir, I focused totally on the work angle. I started tuitions about after 8-9 months of articleship. So the first year, I believe, if you're in a Big Four, you can try to learn a bit. So that is the time you can gain that knowledge, the practical knowledge. And after the first 9-10 months, I started my tuitions, and then I was consistent. I had an understanding with my managers that yes, I'll be putting my time from 10 to 7:30, but I need my time for tuition. So the pandemic had stuck in that time, so that helped me save travel time. That was one good thing. But I didn't extend for many a days. There were a few times where yes, you had to skip your tuitions for a day, but since it was recorded, I could manage that. But I ensured that was not very often. So that way you have to sort your priorities, everyone, because I see many people they give too much focus on their work. Say work is important, definitely it is very, very important, but after a point you should know what your priorities are. So you should give your time 10 to 7, but after that I feel you should focus coming into year 2 and 3. So this is about the work angle. And about the last 1.5 days, I had actually practiced once. So just about a month before the exams, I practiced studying come what may, maximum 2 days I have to complete the syllabus. So that is how you get to know what you're doing. Like you may not be able to cover fully the first time you try to do it, but I was able to complete at least 90% of it in 2 days. So that was one way in which I could do it. I knew that I could, if I'm able to do it now, I just have to revise again. So I suggest you guys time yourself towards the last 1.5 month. Try to complete in 2 to 3 days everything. And there's no particular strategy which I followed. I just wherever I had summary notes, I relied on those, but nothing in particular that way.
Great, awesome, man, superb. Thank you so much. Aishwarya, what about you?
Yes, sir. So, I mean, with respect to people who want to, so what I would say is there is no link between performing well in exams and where you do your articleship. Because during my first year, I wrote my CMA final and I still ended up getting a rank and I was in a Big Four. So it doesn't matter. So studies and article and where you do your articleship has no connection. And yes, there were long hours, but one thing that I told myself was I wanted to complete most of my classes before exam leave started. And I did do that also. I somehow managed to complete most of my classes before exam leave. So I think it depends on you at the end of the day. So whether you have to stretch long hours or not, if you are focused and if you want to do well, then you will somehow find time to do well, whether it be during the weekday or during the weekends. So that depends on each person, sir. It does not depend on where you do your articleship is my personal take. And 1.5 days before the exam, my strategy, this is what my strategy is. I think that you should touch upon each and every chapter. Even if you do a particular chapter for just 5 minutes, touch upon that chapter, because you will never know from which chapter questions are going to come, and you never know, see, something which you had seen for probably just 2 minutes, that might come for a 5-mark question in the exam, which happened to me. Okay. So my suggestion is, even if you study just a chapter for just 5 minutes or 10 minutes, touch upon each and every single chapter, whether it is from the main book or your summary notes or any notes, that is whatever you have. Just try to cover the entire syllabus as quickly as possible. So that is my strategy.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So guys, if you can observe, each person has a different perspective. That's what makes this awesome. Romita, over to you.
Yes, sir. So for me, articleship in a Big Four, I think the main reason was I did my college, regular college BCom honors. So after that, I had to join. So I just wanted to get into a more corporate setup. So that was a major reason why I joined Big Four as such. And I have a slightly different view, I would say. I felt that my articleship and my exams are very connected. In fact, it was very important for me. I would explain it. The reason is I don't judge like whether it's a big firm or a small firm. I would say wherever you are, at least one subject would be dependent on it. Because if I'm in an audit function, so basically FR was something that whenever I used to study, I related to my clients so that the standards were understood in a much depth and proper meaning. I did have a kind of understanding of it in a very detailed manner. If you're even doing it in a small firm, you might be in a compliance department or a taxation department. So that is going to add in some extra understanding or more interest towards the subject is what I would say. So articleship definitely helped me, and it does not matter wherever we do our articleship. I think now that people are more understanding. So if you more than people understanding you, I think you should take time for yourself. You should say that I will commit and spend 2 to 3 hours to study whatever, like you're going for live classes or recorded classes. You need to have that self-discipline is what I would state there. And for me, the strategy during my, the study leave period was I just follow like 3:2:1 because I say like you revise 3 times and you need to take up like 2 tests and you need to have a solid 1 day strategy. So when I did my final revision, I kind of started preparing. When I was doing the revision itself, I kind of had like a particular book where I kind of crafted what should be my day before strategy for examination, where I mentioned what are the topics to cover. I just don't want to explain that part. But the thing is, ensure that you kind of have an understanding of all the concepts and don't do anything new before the exam. It's okay that last minute you're not able to cover, it's fine, but don't do absolutely anything new that's going to just increase the pressure. And definitely go through the MTPs and RTPs in the morning time, like the just before your exam, just run through them before you go into the examination hall. And any formulas or the summary book that I mentioned, like if you write key points, please go through them so that it will act as a refresher. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. So guys, as you can see, each person has a different strategy, but at the end of the day, it all works. But it boils down to one thing, it's all about you. There are many rumors that if you do from Big Four, you won't be able to study. And these people are abnormal. It's nothing like that. All of them are normal human beings and they are awesome. And as this, if you can just observe the conversation, you will come to know that one thing that binds them all is the self-discipline, the discipline, and also the perseverance and the patience that they had and the persistence. With all these things, definitely even you can do well. So on that note, I would extend my warmest gratitude to the three of you, Romita, Kunal and Aishwarya. Thank you so much for taking time off. I know you guys are busy, but thank you for taking time off and doing this. It really means a lot to me personally, and it definitely would mean a lot to all my students here because they were waiting for this particular session. So thank you so much, and I wish all of you all the best in your career. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.